This is just going to be a reflection of my Elite Grand Prix for the TechRules. This Grand Prix was 5 months ago. I just want to see maybe if there was mistakes that I made watching back and seeing what I could have done differently. It's important for me to note that at this time I was only 1 month into playing the game after I think like year-long break. So just want to see what difference in my playstyle, if there's any, from those 5 months, and see where I went wrong in my runs. So this is the qualification. This was a very important for me because I wanted to get into the highest tier 1. In the past I was able to get into the highest tier 1 for 2 of the Tryon GPs and the Yesco GP. So I really wanted to do it with the TechRules, and I had no reason to not go for tier 1. I mean, I might as well try. I already had this car basically gold, so there was no reason for me not to try for it. So at the start here, tilt advantage. I'm already ahead of the Ghost. By the way, this Ghost that I'm racing is, it's Nato. Nato? Something like that. The Japanese player from White Legends. Um, yeah, that was good. You wanted to get a high double barrel, just so you can have good nitro management here. It's pretty good. Okay, let's see here. Little mistake here. Just starting this nitro leech, I dropped down a lot. I don't know what even is the top. I think the top speed is like around here. Okay, never mind. That's fine then. Yeah, but I don't get shockwave, bruh. I don't get shockwave. Should have just nitro leeched a little more. I needed shockwave there. He gets shockwave and he just fucking flies. That was weird, but good enough. And then I got air. I guess it's good. It's pretty weird though. I got air though. And then I tried to land on this invisible wall, but I barely missed it. And I know it's like I'm racing against this guy who got a 33.8, and I only have a 34.1, but it was still good enough to put me into the highest tier 1, so I was still in the top 20 fastest drivers. Luckily here I got a new capture card, so no more dog shit quality. But cool. Round 1, this is the first round of the tier 1, and yeah. In certain cars, the right route is better. Like, for example, the recent GP that we had for the AMG GT Black Series. It's better to go to the right, but this car is such good excel and drift. It was better to go left, which good I did. But back in the day, people would go drift wider and collect this orange bottle, but at this time it was discovered that it wasn't needed because of the high excel that this car has. You could just skip that orange bottle, which made this run a lot more bearable at this time. That was a pretty good turn. The reason why that ghost got closer and overtook me was because about right here I don't use my nitro, but he does, and because of that he has a higher top speed and he just overtakes me. I don't think it necessarily was a bad move for me to not use my nitro because I just wanted to get a shockwave here. That was my whole entire game plan, and yeah, I, maybe if I would have drifted a tiny bit more, like a super tiny bit more, I would have had a better cornering. But I think at the time I would always struggle to get shockwave if I used my nitro where that ghost used his nitro. Yeah, a little wide, but that wall bounce doesn't really do much for me. Like, it just helps me realign back into my correct pathing. Yeah, but I got pretty good air, so I'm overtaking him here, and I actually hit the very edge of this um, like the end of this building, and what that actually does is it shoots me down a little more, which is a lot better. So yeah, pretty good. Overall, that section's pretty good. This turn, wow, watch that one again. And I'm only going 352, which is really good. Um, I know that like some of the players they would get shockwave off that because I'm pretty sure they would like 360, but I'm actually unsure of that. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure you could have shockwave out of that. Um, yeah, that's a good turn right there. Again, really tight. You want to go for the near misses and then yeah, get the shockwave off those two near misses and then hopefully you get a good bounce. And I got a really good bounce. So what was that? 32.9. Pretty good. This next round is there used to be a glitch on this, and a lot of people back in like the Tryon Elite Grand Prix and the Rymac Elite Grand Prix, that's all they did. They just kept doing the run with the glitch, but because of its removal, people had to take the normal route, and I'd say both are equally as hard, especially at a top level, because this check isn't that hard at like a normal level, but at a top level, you'll see that like the ending barrels are everything. So let's see here. At the start, yep, that's something that people used to do, didn't used to do back in the day. This was a strat change. Back in the day, like around 2 years ago, people would just drive normally and start their nitro right as they hit that bottle, and they wouldn't do this drift strat. But this drift strat is a lot better. It's even better on it's better on every single car basically. You you always if you can get a shockwave as soon as you can, then as long as it's optimal, then go for it. Um, that strat right there is like saves so much time. It was definitely absolutely 100% needed. So that's pretty good. That blue nitro turn, I'm actually surprised with my cornering there. You'll see in this comparison of the other ghost. I think he drifts, but yeah, yeah. So he does a drift. So I'm saving a lot of time there by not drifting. But unlucky. You can actually drift in between the orange and blue bottle at this part right here. I didn't do it in my run, so that could have definitely saved time because shockwave is always better. But still, nonetheless, pretty good. I'm really low on nitro here though. If I would have gotten that shockwave strat, I would have had definitely like half a bar nitro, which is a lot better. But instead, I have to drift, and because of that, I now have to take a very honestly this because of that drift it set me up into a really nice cornering with the blue nitro. Honestly, I'll take that. That was pretty good. But this is the hardest part of the track. So usually in the past, people would go left and then they would drift off that small ramp in the distance on to the left, and you could bypass the walls and go into a separate route that had another barrel and overall was just faster. But it got patched out. So instead, what people did was this, where you would go off this barrel, this flat ramp, and aim for this barrel on the right. But this barrel on the right was so hard. Like I don't know how many runs I did that failed here. Like way too many. But yeah, ideally you wanted to get a low double barrel. This Ghost and Racing actually gets the low double barrel. But if you go too high, there you just miss this next corner, and if you don't get a double barrel, it's not the end of the world, but it does kind of kill your run at this high level. Because at the high level, you need to do almost everything. I like near perfect. But yeah. So we both get it here, and then yeah, blue nitro through there. I think that's fine. I don't see why it wouldn't be, especially because I do end up having good nitro management at the end. It's just blue nitroing through that kind of makes it a lot harder with the nitro management, but yeah. And then here, nice little open drift, and yeah, 25.5, pretty good. But it's not even good enough. It's ninth. Like what? Jesus. Okay. Okay. This track was brand new to the game at this time, so My strategies for this was just to do what the ghost in front of me did. So at the start, it seemed like everyone was just dumping their nitro at the start. I guess I guess it was better. So, meh. I remember struggling so hard on this track. Like I remember at this time when I was doing this Grand Prix, I was so burnt out already from all the other rounds. I just kind of wanted this one to be over, and this new track was not it for me. But yeah, you want to get Shockwave here. Some people were doing 360s, and they were still getting around the same times. But I just found that the Shockwave for me was a lot more consistent. So I would just always go for the Shockwave strat. Here I should have gotten Shockwave. Like, what could I have done differently? Let's see. I get the bottle. Should I have used Nitro? No, definitely not. What I should have done is I shouldn't have used Nitro on landing. I should have just done some baby drifts and some Nitro leeching a little bit here and gone Shockwave and then Shockwave off this part right here. That would have been ideal, but I didn't do that. The Ghost Sim Racing doesn't do it either, but his is not ideal either. He doesn't drift there and I do, so he saves time there, and then yeah, that was pretty good. I like that low barrel. Low force barrel into a... This looks like an optimal drift. Shockwave really early, but did I even beat him? I don't even know. I'll assume that I did. That track was hard for me at the time. This one, a little less harder. This was like the main killer of the run, trying to land and get Shockwave out as fast as you can. That was like the first struggle point of this track. I feel like consistency wise, this middle sector, as long as I was on pace, it was always gonna be okay. There's still some like strats in here that got developed over time, but overall this middle section and even the start was about the same. Yeah, that's like the only difference. Like usually, back in 2 years ago, the strat difference here was people would stay on the top, and then drive through the top the entire time. But here, what we do now is the moment we land, we just jump off, and that gives us more airspeed overall. You won't be driving on a long straight without airspeed. So, if you were driving on top, you would be going at this specific point right here. You would only be going at best like three, whatever the nitro speed is, so maybe like 381. I think that's the nitro speed. But because of this whole entire shot, we're going 400 kmh, so it's a lot better. Yeah, this is where the run dies every single time. Like, jeez. And I still can't. This is Alvaro, so I couldn't necessarily get close enough to beat Alvaro, but I feel like this time was respectable enough. I think, like, yeah, I think this is like the only place where I could have maybe improved, like landing and getting Shockwave earlier, because he just goes way faster than me right here, which is like it's all right, but he just does the rest so optimally. Like, even though I gained right there slightly on him because he gets that Shockwave, and then his ending is a little bit better. Just small little things like that make a big difference when you're in the highest tier one. Alright, so this strat here, I think, yeah, let me watch. Let me see what I do. I don't remember. Okay, yeah. So back in the day, what people used to do was they would just drive through that first bottle and then go to the next bottle. In the distance, you'll see it like it's on the ramp, and they would shockwave off that. But here, because of the cars, like in the San Fran track, it is better to, get a shockwave as fast as you can. So this strat was developed and saves a lot of time. So yeah, you're gonna get air off that, and that's pretty fast. And then you can get air off this again. I didn't really get much air, but I got something, so it was alright. That's a good turn. That's good airspeed. Could have been better, but I just think it's alright. It's decent enough. This is also good. That's a good cornering. Ah, damn. Could have definitely overtaken him here. Just went wide. I don't know if I could have gotten tighter. Maybe the car's limitations were so that it made me go wide, but yeah, I definitely was catching up to him there. That's an okay run. Oh, that was the last run. Damn. Okay, yeah. I think I know where I should have improved that. Um, Overall, though, I'd say that that was like a 7 out of 10 performance throughout the entire run. Not bad, but still see improvements.